people. Those are my family members. You're making them proud. And we're gonna make a change. We're gonna make a change, and we're gonna show these police that they will not continue to kill our babies. I'm not gonna stand here and say that my son was innocent. He had his problems. He had his problems. But when he died, he had just had his son. His son was several weeks away from his birthday. And because of a violation of an illness he had called drug addiction, he had backslide. And that's the only reason why they wanted him was because the PO said he was going to put him in a program. But that police officer, Officer John Moody of MANTECA Police, took it into his hands to get my son, wait for him, and then as soon as the truck pulled up behind him, screamed, "Drop your knife, drop your knife." A knife they never found around him. He never had a chance to move away from the door because his foot was caught on the seat belt while he was exiting. Officer John Moody shot my son 13 times while he stood at that door trying to get out. 13 times. The first couple, he was standing, but as he went forward, he crossed his arms in pain, fell on the floor with his back turned, and he shot him in the back several times. Then he shot the final shot to his face, in his cheek. You can see this on video, on the police dash cam video that was being recorded as my son was being murdered. He was being murdered by Officer John Moody, and it is recorded. It's on YouTube. You can see it on my son's page, Justice for Ernest, the whole video. Don't just watch the beginning. It's heartbreaking and it's painful. But if you would see the aftermath, not only did he shoot him, and he tried to drag him away from the car, seeing his foot was caught, had to ask the police officers, "Give me a knife so I can cut the belt." They gave him a knife, cut the belt from his ankle, pulled him away from the truck, Officer Moody, and instead of trying to help him or save him, he started patting him down saying, "I have to find the knife. Help me find the knife." He had a knife they never found near him or anywhere where in the video you see him with a knife throwing it. My son was being pat down, dying by this killer cop who had already shot him down and started tearing his shirt and putting his hands down his pants, flipping him over as he's moaning and groaning in pain. You hear that in the video. You will hear him cry in pain. And you will see this officer cold-heartedly just putting his hands in his pants, in the back of his pants, saying, "I have to find this knife." Because you know why? He needed to justify that he had just murdered my son. A knife he never found near him. It's happened in 6 seconds. He ran up, shot him 13 times, and there was never an ambulance called until he was done trying to find this knife. Now, one of the police officers there tried to administer any kind of help to him. My son, you see him lying there dying. All because you have these officers that think that they are beyond the law. They need to be accounted. They need to have accountability. They need to be drug tested if there's any kind of issue.
That's
whether
right.
it's a shooting, a beating, take them, drug test them. If I get in trouble at work and I get in an accident and I hurt somebody, I'm going to be drug tested. They're not beyond the law. Just because they have a badge doesn't make you God.
Not at all.
They need to be held accountable, and not just on a 3-day suspension.
Come on.
It took us how long to get even the DA report? And all this time, this officer's on the street, free.
18 months.
18 months to get a DA report. And then,
now he's training.
and they found that justifiable. You watch this. They found that justifiable. But then it didn't surprise me one bit. Everyone was upset. I said, I knew they would do that. Look at all our families. They find it justifiable, no matter what. It's because they bring in the DA from within their own group. They need to go outside of the county and have it investigated through others, not within themselves. They all cover up for each other.
Good old boys network.
will never get to see his son graduate from high school. My grandson only knows his father from pictures and from going to the cemetery and kissing his father's picture on his gravestone. That's the only father he's ever going to know. Because John Moody prayed God that day and decided he was judge, jury, and executioner.
Jail for Moody!
Jail for Moody!
Justice for Ernest! Jail for Moody! Justice for Ernest! Jail for Moody! Justice for Ernest! Jail for Moody! Justice for Ernest! Jail for Moody! Justice for Ernest!
One thing I have to say is, like on my sign, they say, we took this tragedy and we turned it to a fight for justice.
That's right.
Not just for us, but for all of you. And for our children.
For your son.
For all our children. And to keep this from happening to any more of our little ones here. Or any more of our children. It must stop.
Yes.
They lit a fire within us. And it's burning and it will never be extinguished.
That's right.
Because I will always go out and say, John Moody is a murderer.
Yeah.
He will never be able to walk the streets and not know people are looking at him